this presentation. The title is Hope for the Best and Prepare for the Worst. Ethical concerns related to the introduction of healthcare artificial intelligence. Please welcome. Thank you.
So first, I'm a timekeeper. So in 25 minutes, I'm going to give the first talk one time, and then 30 minutes, I'm going to do twice, like Bill, to start finishing. Okay?
Okay.
Then we move on to the discussion.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. I'm going to start my presentation. Our title is Hope for the Best and Prepare for the Worst. It's got concerns related to the introduction of healthcare artificial intelligence AI. So this paper was made by the 5 authors. After it here, first I would like to mention a little bit about the current situation concerning AI, and then I will list up the undesirable impact on various situations by AI, and then I would like to present some of countermeasures against potential undesirable situations as a conclusion. Introduction. First, as you know, AI is a general term that implies the use of computer to model intelligent behavior with minimum human intervention, or the automation of intelligent behavior. AI is an entity or a system, and the character is that it can advance and precise inference for large amount of knowledge data that process information at an overwhelmingly high speed. Employment of healthcare AI is anticipated to support many things in our society. Example includes, as you can see, medicines, diagnosis, recommendation, and the treatment. And also they can, interpret pathologies, MRI, CT image, or even the findings. So they can do a lot of things. Even in the United States, AI has already been used in medical student education to teach how to diagnose. Some authors claim that patients will be not generally being seen doctors, but instead by that some other, for example, nurses equipped with AI of diagnosis and treatment function. Those AI might be used when patient is seen by physician assistant, new class of health practitioners, wearable terminals with AI, and implantable, so inside our body, sensors have enabled laypersons, general citizens, to monitor their own health status. AI is expected to analyze doing better than kind of doctors. AI could also personalize medical treatment and simultaneously anticipate future disease of patient by analyzing DNA. And it may even possible to obtain second opinion and medical consultation from, physician expert or AI. The use of medical care robots may be also anticipated. There is evidence that elderly people living around could be soothed by conversation with a robot, which may prevent decline in cognitive function, dementia. Suicide consulting using social networking system has also begun. If health AI is used in expensive medical expense paid by ordinary citizens will be reduced, and those who would not otherwise refrain from using medical service due to financial reason would be able to receive the necessary medical care. So it means that improve access to healthcare. Our aims: introduction of AI to society to various areas will no doubt improve individual health status and increase possible medical choices. Those would be certainly benefit as those concerns. However, every biological issues have at least by two sides, said by the mother. AI can be regarded as a double-edged sword that might cause medical and social undesirable situation, even though it certainly has the potential to make our society better and healthier than ever. In this presentation, we attempt to predict several negative situations that may be faced by the all and our society as a whole. We present then potentially a problematic situation that arise as a consequence of using AI, not only in medical field but also in everyday living situation of individual. And some of countermeasures are presented as our conclusion. Undesirable impact on physicians, clinical practice, and attitude caused by AI. So I'm afraid that physicians abuse AI through their excessive and dependent use of it. As a result, they may neglect to master, maintain, and continue the necessary honing of their professional skills. Some authors suggest that clinicians may turn to machine learning for diagnosis and advice about treatment, and not simply as a support tools. Others pointed out that physicians are liberated from the burden of keeping up and the stress of making the appropriate medical decisions. I don't think this is necessarily a good idea, good thing. We suspect that some physicians may turn to use AI to diagnose and treat patients who do not actually require any AI support. They include for some very simple, typical symptoms and diseases. We would argue that AI might be used routinely in addition to other existing methods of workup without much consideration, such as MRI or CTs, which we don't necessarily need for the diagnosis of simple disease. As such, they may not appreciate the possibility for AI misdiagnosis, biased advice, or inappropriate recommendation. Information entered improperly to the AI system is not reflected in the diagnosis, and erroneously entered numerical value can cause serious errors. I would like to mention about the resurgence of paternalism. Another concern of ours is that the introduction of AI will paternalistic attitude among physicians, as AI may give physicians more objective, correct diagnosis, recommendation, and judgment concerning the patient care. Paternalism, once perceived as obsolete, would be paradoxically resurrected by the introduction of state-of-the-art AI. If the AI judgment concerning the patient medical care plan are consistent with those of the physician, the latter physician is likely to believe that their diagnosis and recommendation turn are objective, absolute, robust, infallible, rather than subjective, biased, or arbitrary. As an extension, the physician would more likely to regard his or her own judgment and diagnosis as more accurate, credible, and variable, worthy of blanket acceptance by any physician, any patient. In this manner, AI could redirect paternalism among physicians who may in turn be more determined to manipulate, coerce, bias, or excessively persuade the patient to accept the best plan, regardless of their intention or hopes. The second, undesirable impact on the general public, I would call it the advent of thrives of information. As far as general public and the patient are concerned, we worried that general public will become uneasy and hypersensitive slaves to information, compulsory and uninterruptedly requesting healthcare information concerning their own health and advice from AI. The longer list for the differential diagnosis shown to the patient may increase anxiety in the patient, who may increase the demand for further workup, which may be futile, meaningless, who may increase the demand for further workup. In those instances, the typical physician may be unable to assuage the patient's fear by simply tell them their diagnosis. Together with valid reasons. When an ordinary citizen receives the health information predicted or advised by AI-based wearable terminals in their context of their daily life that is detached from hospital, health-related anxiety can be higher than that generated in a clinical setting. We predict that some patients would rush to nearby hospital with intensive anxiety if they were notified their AI terminal of an increased heart rate, a little bit 90 or something. The prevented cure premature contraction, which is, harmless, or that their EKG is showing a complete right branch block. It means nothing to health. Other reports from the wearable AI terminals that could send one running into panic to the nearest clinic might include being told that one's arterial age as 80 years old, as we can, sing frequently in the TV program now, that your fatigue could be due to diabetes, or that you have a 5% chance of having cancer. The blind belief that AI is infallible, combined with misunderstanding of AI suggestion, could make individuals hypersensitive to health-related information and data about themselves, leading them to the act of confusion. Anxiety would compel them to seek more and more information, some of which could be misleading. If parents use a wearable AI to monitor their children, it is very likely their anxiety concerning their child's health would be so much greater than their concern for their own health. I understand it because as I am also a parent of 2 children and grandson. Senior Tanaka, who is a Japanese writer, argue that the vast majority human beings are currently now fully reliant on the internet to the point of dependence. They ask the internet not only about how they can achieve their goal in life, but also how to use their own individual purpose and actions. Tanaka claimed that modern day people have become slaves to information, dominated by, adversely influenced by something strange called information. I think this is the case to the healthcare information and cannot stop taking it. A direct to consumer self-monitoring called the same thing. AI advice device would worsen the situation even further due to the lack of collective input from healthcare profession. As a result, many slave to healthcare information would be created. I'm very concerned about it. The next slide is about demolition of traditional physician practice and emergence of empathy machines. A physician may lose their current job and present social status in an era of AI use. They would no longer be considered expert of intelligence, knowledge, specialist, consultant. Instead, they would fulfill the role of counselor or coordinator working along with AI. Some physicians would lose their job entirely if the cost of AI use becomes cheaper than that required to pay a physician salary. Occupations involving creativity, management, and hospitality are thought to be more likely to survive, even with the extensive use of AI in the society. The same could be said for nurses, nursing care staff, child care staff, and various instructors involved in hospitality-related jobs requiring emotional sensitivity and communication. So it is very likely those specialists could survive. In terms of hospitality, those specialists are far more skilled than physicians, and that even if a physician tries to improve their patient with holistic medical care, not knowledge, they could be replaced by nurses and other skilled emotional communication and sensitivity, who also happen to be armed with smart AI skill. An AI system capable of, so this is about empathy machines, an AI system capable of experiencing proper and timely empathy to suffering patient, I would call empathy machine, could also deprive the physicians or even other healthcare professionals of their role in terms of hospitality and emotional exchange. As noted by the such kind, no one could maintain that all professionals are great listeners, I would say, as a physician, and truly empathetic. They also state that they should not assume that machine and system will never be capable of single-handedly machine, and system will never be capable of, without humans, exhibit empathy for human patient. In the field of affective computing, it is reported that science and engineers are developing systems that could simulate empathetic bedside manners. Machine will be equipped to respond to their use in a manner that would appear to be more empathetic than human being. People may even come to prefer confiding in machines over human being, especially in situations involving sensitive or embarrassing issues. Even for those require empathy, we would argue, this could be a radical opinion, that it is not essential that the entire of offering empathetic response to the person in disparate need of emotional response, emotional understanding is a fresh and bred human being. It is not essential. If empathy can be demonstrated properly and the patient mindset improve as a result, the empathy experience could be a machine. Empathy existence could be a machine. Even today, today's society, there are some individuals who are less comfortable with face-to-face interaction with other human beings and who would prefer interacting with machines equipped with communication devices. Do individuals who require empathy from others necessarily require the true feeling of human being? We are not certain of the answer to this position. Human is capable of compassion, kindness, but fully human traits include weakness and prejudice. We would also estimate that only a minority of healthcare professionals can exhibit authentic empathy toward their patient, and that most simply do what they are taught and expected to do as a professional. Therefore, an existence for provision of empathy need not be human being, not to mention physician. Arrival of human health control society. We predicted that entire society will soon share and consolidate sensitive and relevant healthcare information from all in the general public through AI and information network as a part of totalitarian health control society where individual privacy and personal secret could be neglected. Accumulated information on the personal mobile terminals for public health. For example, when patient with influenza is noted, health authorities would use data from the patient mobile terminal to determine other individuals around the patient. This could help contain the influenza and other more highly pathogenic viruses and pathogens. It would also identify the person to be informed of the necessity of quarantine or isolation. I think this is, well, medically good from the perspective of public health, but I think this is a little bit horrible. Another proposal is establish system which local authority use data from smartphone or wearable terminal to preserve individual records of daily steps, blood pressure, weight, body fat, meal content, family history, personal health records, and drug use information by sending all data to the central AI. This system will in turn send back recommendation from AI pertaining to each individual examination. We would imagine that by employing AI, SNS, wearable terminal and information collecting system, our future society would approve of society-wide information sharing and health control of all individuals. and public health will be prioritized over individual privacy. It is clear that medical monitoring aimed at health promotion will become much easier than it is today due to the technology advancement. In the near future, using monitoring equipment will also become a reality through the use of improbable sensors. Such society may be dominated by health supremacy doctrine, or what could be called healthism. Okay, I would skip this. Conclusions. I have 3 strategies, but I would say only 3. So some conclusions. So I believe that health is very important. So we should not be hasty in giving up important aspects of life, including privacy, freedom, justice, truth, and moderation, to name a few. We must work to prevent our society from becoming health-controlled society that are based on excessive health supremacy doctrines. Health is very important, but it is not the only absolute values. Physician must be identified and cultivate the benefit of being flesh and blood physicians. Asking what is the strongest attribute of I have to offer as physician doctors. While AI technology can be more reliable than humans due to the higher consistencies, managing problem, healthcare professionals bring within them a personal touch and can deliver a wide range of assistance. That said, we must abandon the idea that human beings are better than AI solely by virtue of the fact that we are human beings. That's right. Finally, there seems a strong anxiety about our own health, and anxiety could lead AI abuse, health of slave of information, totalitarian healthcare controls. We wonder how we can manage our stubborn anxiety about our health and health as a mortal existence. That's why I have no good answer for that. But we have to throw this anxiety by doing something. Otherwise, many people would become slave to information and suffering from AI poisoning. So that is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Asai. Next is the discussion. We have 2 processes. First one is discussion, and
Thank you for your paper.
Okay, yeah. Okay, firstly, I read my review. I prepared. Recently, it is gradually increasing to employ artificial intelligence in many fields of healthcare service and education, as the presentation mentioned. In the near future, it might be much more generalized, not only by physicians, but also patients and general public, to use AI for their respective purpose. It is sure that this could be a big change in field of healthcare. This change, as mentioned in the presentation, may trigger another problems that are very different from problems that human physicians have mainly been charged with the healthcare service. In the sense, the problems raised with the use of AI are surely new ones. And the new problems are what could be discussed with the bioethical approach, not only because they are associated with the healthcare service as the presentation approach. But AI could take up domain of the healthcare that has once exclusively been played only by human physicians and nurses or caregivers. Dr. Atsushi Asai and researchers have just focused on these changes and drawn an excellent inference. More than all, it could be excellent virtue of this presentation that this inference has inclusively provided a clear view on the changes and the possibly expected worries related to the use of AI. The 7 keywords in the presentation show widely but well-arranged view of the inference, and actually what the research aims at very well diagnosis on problems of use of data that could be raised by a physician or a patient or others. Acceptably, the empathy machine seems to be mainly related to emotional exchange between patient and the machine, and the discussion about the programming of the machine focused more on human emotion than on how to programming of healthcare big data in the robot. In spite of such differences, this presentation sincerely involved many diverse problematic cases that are mostly related to responsibility of human beings as users of AI. We could inform more related or expected problems based on this presentation. With the appreciation true value of this presentation, I would add my comment for further developing discussion about bioethics in era of AI. As the presentation shows, this time is already running into the era of AI in not only healthcare service field, but also many other. For example, autonomous vehicle, secretary in office, writing literary work, etc. Maybe use of AI will increasingly widen into much more field of society in which human activities need to expand or in which human labor should or would be replaced with AI robots. When such things will be realized, there could exist very different kinds of actors network that maintain the whole social networks of a living system. In the case, the healthcare service provided with the AI programs could be an important part of the whole networks because human life expectancy and the treatments of health-related problems will still be significant. By the way, there could emerge another kind of situation of actors' social network, which includes not only humans but kinds of AI robots. There is hybrid actors network in which humans are mainly dependent on robots' labor or many kinds of services that make humans very convenient with reduced activities. All robots will already be working in various fields of activity. At the time and in the social networks, in such social networks, is it the human responsibility what bioethics should only deal with? This is my question and comment. This presentation limits its discussion within human responsibility in use of AI. But in the other side, from human uses of AI, there could be arising many problems associated with AI robots malfunctioning, programming errors, ethical corruption of programmer, excessive planning or controlling by government or governmental institutions, etc. That is to say, another kind of system will get settled in the near future in our society. should bioethics begin more inclusive research and discussion about how to arrange such hybrid actors networks and how to newly build a healthy ecology in the era of AI? As the presentation mentions on emotional exchange between patient and AI robot, the exchange might not stop at the stage of which human is human, robot is robot. Especially, what could be problem is humans' dependence will be increasing toward regarding machines as a member of family or even as expanded human body. In the cases, there is no reason to believe that a robot could not have a character that is of course different from human character, but equivalent or reciprocative to humans. I think researchers of bioethics should actively challenge to such things because they are too important to be neglected. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment, and I read it. And I agree with you, and my presentation is limited to the kind of AI production and healthcare, especially physician and healthcare professionals. So, and as you mentioned as the important issues, I admit that there are many issues: robot malfunction, programming errors, ethical corruption of program, and excessive planning or controlling by government. So today's presentation, because of time constraint, I skipped the problem of robot malfunctions when it's out of order, and I also skipped the CI/COI problem of physicians and manufacturers. I'm afraid that COI would strongly influence physician behavior in terms of using AI. They try to, make money by using AIs. So in my original papers, which is 1600 word long, I also included those issues. And so as for the government institutions' impact, I just mentioned about health control societies, but maybe they would do many other things to control societies, I'm afraid. And as for the how robot to be one of the family members, or when the robots overtake our abilities. I think that this is called the point of singularities. So I consciously exclude those problems when AI has personality, or feelings, or their own desires. So maybe this is the next step to develop. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And any other questions?
Thank you. First, my question is, whose intelligence will it be? Will it be evidence-based Western medicine, or will it be, for example, Japanese medicine, including Kampo? 12 years ago, my colleagues and I, and some colleagues in New Zealand, we published a series of papers regarding the use of machine learning for improving practice of medical doctors. Actually, this field has grown very much. We believe the first form of AI would be assistant to doctors and use machine learning from their practice to provide feedback to avoid medical errors. We showed that there were many medical mistakes being committed because of human error, and machine could prevent from it. And that's the point I'm trying to make now. So that was my first question. The second question is, in USA they say between 100,000 and 150,000 people are dying every year because of malpractice. Japan never publishes any such data. I have never heard of anything like that. And what I have seen, I've seen a lot of cases of malpractice is all denial. No. Complete denial, and the system supports doctors. The courtrooms support doctors. So there is no way, I don't think you should worry about Japanese doctors. They will have a monopoly over how it is going to be used. But if it can be used, it may help doctors avoid making medical mistakes. It will save lives. So why don't you consider the benefits of AI if it can be controlled by medical community and help, with the lives of people? And the last thing I want to tell you this, it's very interesting. It's not my quote, but somebody who works in Toyota for like 20 years in Japan, he said, Japan is very good at making robots out of humans and making humans out of robots. So thank you.
Second one is, as a benefit, I wrote a lot of benefit in my original papers, but I have to, cut those slides for time frame. And what is the first one? The question.
How is AI is going to be fed? Machine learning or Western medicine or Japanese medicine? How will AI, whose intelligence? Whose intelligence? Japanese medical practice intelligence, Western medicine, what will be?
I will mainly intelligence in the United States. So, for example, Watson, developed by I think it's IBM and many other,
But that would be totally different from Japanese. The systems are different. Japanese system of medicine includes Kampo, includes a lot of alternative medicine, complementary medicine.
I don't know about the Kampo, but mainly, Japanese medicine, in a sense, completely, imported from the US, Western medicine. But in the future, so as far as I know, as a chair of the ethics committee in my university, there are lots of research going on, developing AIs with deep learning. So someday, AI, dealing with Kampo will appear. I'm not sure. And the second one, robots. So I believe
malpractice, the issue of malpractice.
Malpractice.
Don't you think it will avoid malpractice?
I think this is one of the benefits of which AI or a robot can avoid malpractice by the inferior physicians. Yeah, I admit that. Yes.
Okay. Question.
The question is that what is the current legal situation on AI? Because when AI gave us some error, who would take responsibility on it? This is very common for everywhere. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the very good question. So I have not dealt with that question in these papers, but as all we know that for the AI-driven cars, there are the problem legal responsibilities. So if some kind of medical mistake happen in the future, not yet, medical future, that problem appeared as a big problem. But currently, I have no answer for that. Sorry.
So,
Please.
yeah, my computer has a question for you.
Should human beings restrict the capacity of us artificial intelligence systems to be real family members and professional carers? I do not think they should prevent me to love you.
Would you like my computer to repeat it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Love you.
Should human beings restrict the capacity of us artificial intelligence systems to be real family members and professional carers? I do not think they should prevent me to love you.
Should prevent. So could you explain?
You are, so my colleague here, the computer was asking, should human beings, you're trying to thinking about restricting the capacity of AI systems to, in your discussion, I think it appears like, and you ask questions like, should you prevent the AI system to love you?
I don't think so.
So we shouldn't, okay.
As for the aim of this paper, I restricted the field of discussion before the era of singularities. But I'm not sure. But in the future, AI, yeah, it's okay. People and the people love the AI. I don't have any problem for that.
Okay. Please.
Okay.
So probably that computer is getting angry. Yes, my question is very simple. You cited a number of problems caused by the introduction of the AI in the medical field. And my question is, which is the most serious problems, and which is difficult to evade? For example, so the AI will replace the position of the physician, and so it may be inevitable or difficult to evade.
So personally, I'm 56, and my career will be end as a physician end in 10 years. So I don't care about AI will take over the physician job. But for me, the most important problem is maybe third one, that many people, including physicians and healthcare professionals, will be the slave to the healthcare information created by AI. For me, the biggest problem.
And then, can you propose the countermeasure to that program?
Yeah. Yes, I actually wrote 6 countermeasures for each problems, but I skipped that slide today. So I have 4 papers, so I can show you later.
Thank you. So I read it later.
Any more question? We have how many minutes?
Just 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. So, closing this session.